know, in playing Marion, knowing that, this film is based off a book, but also based off true events, how does that impact you when, taking on a character like her?
Well, it's interesting because I read the screenplay first. Then I read Bethan Roberts' book, which the screenplay is based on. And then, of course, you learn that Bethan was inspired by events that the writer E.M. Forster had in his life. He was in love with a policeman, a male policeman, and the policeman was married. And they formed what E.M. Forster called a wondrous model, as in Muddle. And so Bethan took that inspiration, but of course she takes the story somewhere else. So it's not an exact interpretation of E.M. Forster's life. She takes that just as a starting block. So you have a triangle of people who are brought together by love in the 1950s in Britain, on the south coast of England. And the things that they do to one another and the things that they do perhaps against one another indelibly mark their lives. And then, of course, you meet them again in 1999, 4 decades later, when one behaves as a catalyst to bring everybody together in hope to reconcile the past.
Come with me, just you and I.
He's trying to destroy our marriage.
No hiding, no lies.
You know nothing about being married to... Stop telling me what I'm supposed to think about it.
The way that the story unfolds and the way that it's told, I had so much empathy for what each of them are going through and the trauma. I would love to know how, in reading the script, how that actually impacted you.
Well, it was interesting. I think it wasn't so much when I was reading it. I think when I watched the film, then somehow you can begin to move away and have perhaps as much objectivity as you can have. And it was then that I understood something that we all understand academically, that as we get older, we can look back at our past, and if there are things in our past that we feel we need to address, maybe we should have the courage to do it before it's too late. And so obviously we know that, but to feel it and to be reminded of the importance of that was something that I felt when I watched the movie.
I would love to know how it felt if you watched it with an audience, what that feeling was like in the theater, because unfortunately I was home watching it on a computer, but and alone. So I would want to know what that air was like.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen it yet with an audience because there was a world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival a few weeks ago, and then on Saturday here in the UK, the London Film Festival is currently going on, and there's a screening on Saturday night, and I am going to watch it on Saturday night with an audience. So that will be my first time. I mean, even in those sort of screenings, perhaps it isn't the same as when you just go to a regular screening in a cinema. But it will be interesting to see how audiences do take it. And I hope that it does inspire people to remind themselves, or certainly learn about these elements of our history, and inspire them to continue to make changes for the best.
My Policeman is currently playing in theaters and will be streaming on Prime Video November 4th.